Hello everyone, and welcome back to a very different video than you're used to. So today we actually have a tier list for Behemoths, in my opinion by the way, that I prefer. This is just going to be me ranking all 57 Behemoths in the game. Dire variants, non-dire variants, everything in the game. I'm ranking on this nice little tier list. And as I said, it is my opinion, so if you find one of your Behemoths you prefer on the lower end of my tier list, just know this is personal preference. No need to worry, it's fine. So with that all the way, sorry, I don't know how to English. With that all out of the way, we're gonna get right into it. I don't know, I'm sounding so bad. So anyway, we're gonna start with Agaris here. Agaris is gonna go solidly in the B tier. I don't hate him. I don't love him, but I do like him. Mainly for his escalation and his legendary weapons. They are pretty solid. Mainly for the one-shot builds. They're fantastic. Not to mention you get the extra free revive out of it, which is fantastic. But as a fight, he's not that bad. He doesn't really move around much. His Heska fight's really not that nightmarish. He's a solid Behemoth. The only problem with him is his poison pools. So yeah, he deserves a solid B tier, especially because his design is alright. I kind of like the whole lore behind him. It's solid. On the other end of the spectrum, Elyra deserves a solid D tier because good god, those laser beams are so annoying to deal with. I cannot stand the inaccuracy with those laser beams. So he'll get about 4/5 through his laser beam attack. And then the last 5th of it will be extremely quick, so you don't really have time to dodge it unless you anticipate the whole entire bit of that attack. And it's just kind of a problem to me. So Elyra deserves D tier. He's just a very annoying fight to me. I do like the design and the sound design. The fight's cool, but on paper it's cool. But in practicality, it's kind of a pain in the rear to fight. And Embermanes, I'm going to give the Embermane line a solid C tier. Because I don't like them. I mean, I don't hate them, but I don't love them. They're very simple. You kind of learn how to boop off of them because they're a pretty reliable fight for boops and everything. But they're really not the best in the line of Behemoths at all. They're just kind of, they exist. You learn a lot of things from them, and that's that. Boreases, I'm gonna put right behind the Embermanes. Notice that the dire variant is actually swapped with the normal variant, and here's why. Normal variant, his health pool is an absolute joke. I think it's actually the lowest health pool in the whole entire game. With Carabag, that might be kind of close, but the only problem with Dreadfrost is the amount of minions this man can spawn is insane. And in Heska's, his ice armor is so annoying to deal with. He got better about it. He doesn't spawn it as much, but he does spawn it. The whole thing with Lightbound Boreas, by the way, which I forgot to rank, which I'm going to put ahead of all of them, because I do like Lightbound Boreas a lot. We'll get into that in a second. But the thing is, they made it better because you can knock bombers into the Boreas, and that will temporarily stun him, so you can get some damage in, so he can't do the ice armor attack. So it's kind of a skill issue thing, but that's okay. And Lightbound Boreas, oh my god, his design is really cool. I actually like him, but at the end of the day, he's still a Boreas, and Boreas is kind of boring. And, his fight is a lot better than these other two. His fight's cool. He's a really good addition to the Radiant line, but really the only point I can give him is his fight and his design. Other than that, he's just a Boreas that can fly. So Charroggs were actually, there's going to be a lot of C tiers in this, by the way. We're going to put both Charroggs ahead of the Boreas line. When it comes to the whole Sporestruck Charrogg, dudes, I'm gonna put him in the... We're gonna put him above Embermane. I think this is play if it'll let me. There we go. I do like Sporestruck, why do I keep trying to say Embermane? Sporestruck Charrogg, I do typically like him. He used to be way worse. The glaring problem he used to have was that his poison jets would actually stagger you into oblivion, and you would just die in them. And nowadays, it doesn't stagger you anymore, but it does do increased damage, increased poison regeneration. So just don't touch the poison jets. You can get out of them now, though. So really, if you do die to that, it is a skill issue, but that's okay. It can be fleshed out, so you're fine. Now we have the Quillshot Line. I actually took the time and organized all these, by the way. So, the Quillshot Line, I actually like them over the Charrogg Line a little bit. We're going to... Yeah, I do like that. Deadeye. Deadeye's fun. We will put Flameborn at the back. Weirdly... Actually, no, put it... No. Middle. There we go. So normal Quillshot, he's really boring. He's a neutral behemoth, so he's really not much to write home about. We're going to talk about him in a second, but Deadeye Quillshot, my only issue with him, besides him being a neutral behemoth, so he's kind of bland. So whenever you're on a hunting ground, you can be fighting a whole nother behemoth like 300 plus meters away, and somebody else could be fighting the Deadeye Quillshot. Well, whenever this boy enrages, he can launch quills all the way across the map to hit you. So if there is a Deadeye Quillshot on the map and you see somebody fighting him, be ready for quills, because he will hit you and it's going to hurt tremendously. And my only problem with Flameborn Quillshot, he's actually pretty easy. His health pool's pretty small. But his quills, however, hurt so bad. His quills actually have some pretty high damage because they explode. And they seem to have kind of a pretty decent AoE. But other than that, he's a fine addition. I don't mind him. I'm sorry. I am hiccuping right now. My bad. My body is not happy because this is kind of the 7th time I'm recording this video, by the way. I've had a lot of issues with this video. But it's okay. We're mentally kind of managing, so it's fine. But yeah, Flameborn Quillshot and the whole Quillshot line in itself is a solid C tier. Nashers, however, I'm going to put most of the line in D tier, then some of the line in the C tier. Wait, that's not quite where I wanted you. There we go. So, why are these here? First of all, Nasher is extremely boring. Neutral behemoth again, so excruciatingly boring. Ragetail has tremors, which are extremely frustrating. They did fix it a little bit, where the tracking is not as good as it used to be, but they do still track a little bit, and tremors in this game are kind of frustrating. However, if you break the tail, the only tremors you have to worry about are on the legs. So when he does a stomp attack, that's the only tremors you really have to worry about. But still, Ragetail is pretty frustrating and pretty boring, so I will happily put him in the D tier. So why is Deep Frost, Nasher, and Flameborn Nasher up here? Deep Frost is a good take on Nasher, so he gets a little higher grade. However, I do prefer him over Dreadfrost Boreas because he doesn't have ice armor, first of all. And his attacks are pretty predictable for the most part. They do have weird hitboxes every now and then, but what Behemoth in this game does not really. So I don't really hate him. I don't really like him. Flameborn Nasher is a little bit better though. I actually might put him ahead of the Boreas line actually. This is the only Nasher in the game I actually don't mind fighting and I actually kind of enjoy. Excuse that. My middle finger got excited, so don't worry about it. But anyway, Flameborn Nasher is really predictable for the most part, and his fireballs are pretty easy to dodge. Sometimes they do kind of track you a little too well, but that's okay. He's really not that bad. The only problem I have with him, I think, is really the slam attack when he enrages. It will hit up to 6 times. And you really can't do much there if you're using a weapon that can't get damage without having to be right up next to them. So that can be kind of annoying, but for the most part, he's really not that bad as a behemoth. I think I already warned you guys, but there's going to be a lot in the C tier. I'm pretty picky on my behemoths. I've been around for about 4 years, so I think I have the right to be picky. Oh, the Skarn Line. So Frost Skarn is going to go below Rage Tail. Rockfall is going to be bottom of C tier, and normal Skarn we're gonna put right below the other Boreas. So here's why. Normal Skarn, he's not that bad. He's just a really depressed rock. I understand that. I get it. It's fine. It's cool. But Rockfall Skarn, he also has Shockwave, but he's still basically just a Skarn with a little bit more range on his attacks, so he's really not that bad. He's just kind of annoying and tanky, especially in a Heska. He can take a while to kill. The Frost Skarn, though. Defrost Skarn, I think is what it's called. He's irritating. Because his first 2 attacks can combo really well together. If he does the Ice Spike attack where he imprisons you in that little sphere of icicles, you have no choice but to take damage, because whenever you break those icicles, by the way, they explode and do frost damage, and they freeze you. Well, not freeze, it's chilled now, because freeze doesn't exist anymore, thank the Lord. But yeah, you really have no choice but to take damage when you break those. The other one he does where he will actually kind of like scoot forward and break the ice spikes that are just in a line, that's not as bad. But for the most part, yeah, I just don't like Defrost Skarn that much. He's just kind of irritating to me. But the Drask Line, dude, we're gonna put normal Drask up there. We're gonna put Shadow Touch there, and our first S tier is Thunder Deep. That might stir the pot a little bit. Let me take a drink real quick. I'm gonna hydrate. But, so let's go from bottom to top. So Shadow Touch Drask. My only real issue with him is the fact that he has an attack, which is his double lunge attack. That tends to hit you before the animation actually goes out. And that's really frustrating to me. I don't really care for that. Other than that, I like his design, I like his fight. He's really not that bad, he's actually kind of cool. Now, normal Drask, I like him a little more. He's simple but effective. I've hit actually a majority of my really big hits on normal Drasks, so I really do like him. And like I said, he's simple but very effective as a fight. He's just great. I like him. So he strongly deserves the A tier for me. Thunderdeep, though. Dude, I love Thunderdeep. His design is so good. His sound design is so good. His fight design is so good. I love everything about Thunderdeep. He's literally everything in a fight that I want. He can be challenging at times, but also, if you know how to control him, he can be pretty easy. He's like the perfect balance. And, dude, like, when Thunderdeep got re-added, I was so happy. Granted, he hit like a train. He still hits like a train, but, you know, fair enough. Look at him. He's a strong boy. He is a big boy. He drinks his milk. He eats his vegetables. He is a good boy. Speaking of not so good boys, though, yeah, you guys actually go below Elyra. This is an example of a refresh done wrong. So whenever I did hear that Sporestruck Embermane was getting a refresh and becoming its standalone behemoth, I was looking forward to that, thinking, oh, hey, sweet, so we're now going to get a behemoth that might have better attack patterns rather than just being erratic and uninterruptible besides one attack. Or, sorry, 2 attacks, actually. Yeah, we didn't get that. The whole frantic fight that Sporestruck Embermane used to do, yeah, they made it worse. It's granted, he has better animations overall, but still, like, Dude, I hate Fenroar. Mainly Earthshaper Fenroar is the one that I absolutely hate. I just cannot deal with it. So, yeah, that's like a just big problem for me. And, yeah. The weapons kind of suck. I mean, it has Parasitic on it, but the UE on it is really bad. It doesn't really seem to work properly, and plus you have to jump to proc it, which is no different than Elyra, but Elyra's works. This one's just kind of awkward because it actually procs weirdly. So, I don't know. I just don't like Fenroar. I don't really like the way they went with the whole fight. So, yeah, that's kind of an L for me. Oh, speaking of L's, we have the Zakiri line. Normal Zakiri, I actually don't mind. I actually kind of like him. I might... I'll put him at the top of it. No. Put him behind Agaris. Behind Agaris. There we go. There's not much to say. He's a good design. Great weapons. Great armor set for the most... Well, great chest piece at least. But... as good of a design as you can get for a bug, and... great passive cell that you get on it, which is Cunning. The chest piece also gets... I believe it's... I think the chest piece is also Cunning with a utility slot, which is fantastic. But, yeah, Zakiri, strong B tier for me. I don't hate him. He used to be way worse, but they've improved on him, so he's actually not bad. You, though. We're gonna put you in here. Well, we're actually also gonna delete this tier. Hold on, I know how to do this. We're gonna delete that. And then we're going to... that. And then he has his own tier. Why is that? Not only for the funny, but because, dude, this Behemoth is really unfair half the time. His lava laser beams have never been fixed. They have aimbot to the max. Half the time you have no choice but to take damage from them, which is stupid. He can launch fireballs at you that have extreme aimbot. While he is staggered, by the way, he has a good design. I will give him that. But other than that, dude, this Behemoth belongs in the trash. He needs to be reworked ASAP because he is a very unfair Behemoth in my opinion. And just makes no absolute sense whatsoever. So, before I get too angry, we're going to get off the red line. How many do we have left? Oh, not bad. Okay. We're doing good. We're doing okay. Pangar Line, we're going to put solidly in the B tier. Good design, good sound design, alright weapons, even after the nerf, they're not that bad. But Pangar is pretty easy of a fight, pretty reliable. He rolls pretty often, you can kind of bait out most of his attacks. But he's really not that bad of a Behemoth at all. Like, I don't hate him at all. So... yeah, solid B tier for me. Also, right behind Pangar, we're going to put Frostwolf. Just because the fight can be janky at times, but the weapons are fantastic. A lot of the armor is really good, and the fight used to be worse, but they did actually improve on the Frostwolf fight, I believe last Christmas, around then. Frostwolf's fight is actually pretty good now. He's really not that bad. I don't hate to fight him. I just don't fight that many of them, so I kind of have to relearn his fight every now and then. We're down to Hellion. Hellion. You're gonna hate this, but we're putting Hellion up here. Actually, we're gonna put him above Thunderdeep. Come on, there we go. Alright, yeah, I love Hellion Line. I love the sound design the best out of these two variants of Pangar and Hellion. I love his sound design the best. And his design in general, dude, Hellion is so cool. Not to mention, his weapons and armor are pretty solid. And I think part of it also is that I like seeing my friends in pain, so whenever I go on Blazeworks to fight a Scorchstone Hellion, everyone's like, alright, I guess we'll follow you, but like... dude, why? And it's because I just like him. He's fun. Carrowback. Carrowback. actually going to put you behind Frostwolf. Small health pool, simple fight, easy behemoth for the most part. When he goes invisible, he is still pretty easy, but he can be pretty annoying. But he's really still not that bad. I don't hate him. I don't like him, though. Well, I don't love him. I do like him. He's just really not that bad to me, though. So Koshai, our next A tier. The reason why normal Koshai is up here, and also Shadow Touch is going to be up here, though. Ahead of normal Koshai. These two behemoths, you can bait out most of their moves pretty effectively. They're pretty manipulative. You can kind of gauge what they're going to do. You can bait out both well, you can bait out this one's interrupt. This one is kind of on a timer, it seems like, or at least on a move base set. However, these are both pretty fun fights, pretty easy, good designs, good sound design. I like them. You, however, I'm putting you below Deep Frost Skarn, or Dread Frost. Why? The laser beam's animation comparative damage is very inconsistent. The laser beam will look like it's not going to touch you, but then as it goes past you, it does hit you, because the animation doesn't extend as far as it should with the hitbox. So what I'm saying is the hitbox and the animation are very inconsistent with each other, which is a big problem in this game with some behemoths. If the attack doesn't look like it's going to hit me, why should I dodge it? But then it does hit me, so then I should have dodged it. But how am I supposed to know I'm supposed to dodge it if it doesn't look like it's going to hit me at all? Do you get my argument here? Like, it's kind of stupid, if you ask me. But Malcarian, we're going to put it solidly at the top of A tier. And he'll probably stick here at the top of A tier. So, let's run it down. Fantastic escalation. I know English. Fantastic design, fantastic sound design, and he's really fun to one-shot. He really is. I'm sorry, it's mean to abuse your behemoths, but easy to one-shot and fun to one-shot as long as you have VI. You usually don't act. You probably could get away with it without VI, by the way. I'm gonna hydrate again, by the way. But yeah, Malcarian's really not that bad. He's almost S tier. Like, he is maybe 0.2 points away from being S tier. The only reason he's not S tier is because he tends to run away from you the whole entire fight. And that's pretty annoying. Otherwise, I really do like him. Great Behemoth. I can't wait to fight him later today. Now, the Strike Line, we're going to put also below, well, no, we're going to put him above the Dreadfrost Boreas. This could just be personal spite, but he has been pretty annoying this patch. I don't know why. And he's pretty boring. His weapons kind of suck. His armor set never used, by the way. But yeah, it's a really simple fight. Pretty predictable for the most part. Very, very selective moveset. He's really not that bad at all. I just don't care for him because he's kind of boring. Nayzaga's, however. Normal Nayzaga goes here. Shockjaw goes there. And Shadow Touch, I'm actually going to put up here. So, actually, no. We're actually going to put him up quite a bit farther. Yeah. I love the Nayzaga Line. Just like I said with Drask, he is simple but effective. Shockjaw Nayzaga is a really fun fight. The only issue I have with the Nayzaga Line in its entirety is the hitboxes. The part break hitboxes are really bad. They're very finite. It's really hard to break a certain part because it's like just... It's on a really weird hitbox. As well as his interrupts. His interrupts are a little weird. Sometimes you'll even get your discipline stack out of it, but you won't even get the interrupt, so it just doesn't make any sense to me. Shadow's just Nayzaga. The reason why he's at the bottom of the A tier, though, is because I love my Umbral Behemoths. Umbral fights are really cool to me. And he's just a fun fight in general. I love fighting Shadow's Nayzagas. If I see one in an escalation, I'm going for him immediately if it's a double Behemoth fight. He is like my priority. I love him. He is fantastic. And now we have a Phalanx, which is going to go right behind Thunderdeep. I'm sorry. Please don't hate me. I know he's just a reskin of Shrike-Skraev, but I love his sound design and I really love his fight. He's just a really fun fight. Part of that could be just because I use Frostwolf weapons, so my weapons tend to do a lot of damage against him, but also, like, I really do like him. He's fun to me. So Phalanx is ranked at S tier. Also, can we talk about how fun his trial is? His trial is really fun and really easy to kind of like get good times on. I don't know, the Phalanx in Trials feels actually a little bit weaker than the Blazeworks Phalanx, which is kind of weird. Now, also coming behind the S tier is Riftstalker. We're putting you ahead of Hellions. Riftstalker was my first fight in this game when I first started that I was just like, oh my lord, this dude's cool. He's scary, but he's cool. And I still love him to this day. He has great weapons. His armor is okay, depending on what part you use. But his fight's really unique. His sound design is great. His music is fantastic. He's just a great behemoth all around, and I can't really find any gripes about him other than being in Heska. He can be a pain, but what isn't really a pain in Heska's? Like, come on. Riftstalker is a cool behemoth, a really fun behemoth to fight. I love him. And on the polar opposite of that spectrum, we have Sahvyt, which is going to go right here in between Elyra and Deep Frost Skarn. There's a glaring problem with Sahvyt. Actually, there's two glaring problems. So, first problem, there is 0 interrupts with this thing, and he attacks constantly. With how fast he attacks, you maybe have enough time to get off 1 or 2 attacks before he attacks again. And 2, his animations are lazy. They are literally Torgadoro animations. Tell me I'm wrong. Go fight Torgadoro, and then go fight Sahvyt. And look at how similar the animations are. They are literally the same animations entirely, which is very lazy to me. However, his weapons are great. I do like it. And if his intention for being added was to have a behemoth with no interrupts that is attacking constantly, maybe tune it down to where he does have an interrupt, but it's very hard to hit. Like, it's a very tight window, kind of like how Elyra has and Phalanx has, where it's a really tight window to get the interrupt, but it's still possible if you're skilled enough to get it. I feel like that would fix Sahvyt's fight for me so much so, I'd probably put him in B tier, or maybe even top of C. Otherwise, yeah, I don't care for him. You guys ready to be mad at me? You ready to be mad? I love the Shroud Line. It's almost like it's my profile picture or something. The Shroud Line to me is such an enjoyable line. I love both of their designs, their sound designs, their fights. Everything about them I love. Also, on Blazeworks, if there is not a Scorchstone Hellion, you're going to find me fighting the Bloodshot Shroud. I really love that line a lot. It's extremely fun to me. And the only thing I don't like about them is their weapons. Their weapons' unique effect. Well, Shroud's unique weapon effect. Weirdly, it sucks. It sounds like it'd be good, especially paired up with Revenant, but it really doesn't do anything. Like that supposed 50% damage increase you're supposed to get, yeah, you don't notice it. It feels like maybe a 5% damage increase, if I'm being honest. And so, yeah, I kind of would like his UE to be worked on, but until then, yeah. He's still going to stick as S tier, but yeah. We're on to the Skraev Line. Skraev Line, we're going to put just below the Charrogg Line. Practically same behemoth, they just have frost element to them, so they can Aether Charge. And Winterhorn Skraev has a little more jankier attacks than normal Shrike does. So they belong below the normal strike line. Not much to say on that. Oh, and their weapons absolutely suck. So, yeah, we're not going to talk about that. Stormclaw Line, however, I'm going to put in the A tier. There we go. I love Stormclaw. It's a basic behemoth, just like Drask, though. Spoiler alert, simple but effective. They're still great. Also, a little pro tip. Do you see the horns on top of their heads? Newbies. Are you familiar with its lightning curse attack, where it will spawn a storm cloud above you that will strike down on you 3 times? Yeah, if you break the horns on its head, it cannot do that attack anymore. Just so you know, little pro tip, break the horns if you don't want to get hit by a lightning curse, and you will be happy. Now, Chronovore, you have gotten a lot better. I would originally put you in D tier, but since Radiant Escalation dropped, you have gotten a lot better. The fin hitboxes have been improved. The overall behemoth itself has been improved. The only problem I have with it is a skill issue personally, where I will go for my Bastion Slams and he flies up into the air just slightly, where I don't hit him. That is my only issue with him. Other than that, he's really kind of fine. Some of his explosion attacks do have different timings on it every now and then, though, which is a little weird. But for the most part, he's perfectly fine to me. I don't hate him. I don't love him, but I do like him. He's not bad. Also, great escalation. Thrax, we're putting right in front of Malcarian. Feels weird doing that, but I do have a slight bias of my own behemoths, if you haven't picked up on that. Umbral behemoths are all ranked pretty high in this list. I love fighting Umbral variants because their fights to me are the most interesting. Thrax is no exception to that, especially his Heska fight. His Heska fight is really cool. It's also really fun. The only issue I really do have with him, though, is that his unique effect on his legendary weapon is still glitchy to this day. So that kind of needs to be fleshed out. But other than that, dude, he's a great behemoth. I absolutely love him. Wouldn't mind a trial for Thrax soon, by the way. Torgadoro, we're going to put right behind Malcarian. And here's why. Again, a great legendary behemoth. He's done right. He's fantastic as a flame behemoth. And the best part about his escalation, you can get Lady Luck's Barrage and build tons and tons of stacks on him to get that maximum Lady Luck's Barrage effectiveness. I'm going to try to put a card in the video here somewhere so you guys can witness me doing, I think it's like 280 something stacks of Lady Luck's Barrage on him. But if I forget to put the card in the video, just scroll down on my channel, you'll see something about Lady Luck's Barrage, and yeah, that's going to be the video. You're going to want to see it. It's pretty cool. There is a build from that one, by the way. Alright, we're done with the last 2. Urska, we're going to put you at the bottom of A tier. It's not that you're bad, it's just that you share the same problem as Fenroar, where you're very erratic. And I swear gravity doesn't exist in that escalation at all. Well, once you get to the boss arena, like, you get launched so often in that fight, it's ridiculous and kind of frustrating. But actually, you know what's frustrating enough? I'm gonna move you down to behind Agaris. Yeah, being launched constantly is pretty annoying. So yeah, Urska deserves a B tier. And Valomyr, I normally would put you in here with Flame Beretta. They have done marginal work on you though, so I'll put you right there. If you haven't heard, the Valomyr improvements on the roadmap have been postponed, which is honestly fine because the whole December 1st update is going to be a big update. Honestly, in my opinion, it's a make or break update for this game because we're getting the new game mode, we're getting some new cells, so I'm okay with it. But yeah, Valomyr still needs a lot of improvement, so he belongs in D tier, right ahead of Deep Frost Skarn and right behind Ragetoll Nasher and the whole Nasher line, technically. But yeah, I've done this video about 7 times. I've just had I've had troubles making this video lately, but I think this is a solid list since I've had to do this so many times, so I've had time to get my list straight. So, with that all said, the new series comes out November 5th, Rags to Champion, where we're starting on a fresh account, and I'm going to try to get the gold crown as fast as possible, with some other hidden challenges in between. And if you want to do this tier list, there's going to be a link down below for it. And you might be wondering, how can I share my results to you, though, if I did the tier list? We have a Discord server that there's also going to be a link for down below. So, feel free to join the Discord server, and you can talk to me, talk to some other cool people in there, find some people to squad up with and play with. And if you want some advice from me directly, I'll get to you when I can, but just message me and I will hit you up whenever I get a chance to. I am pretty busy right now, but I will still get to you as soon as I possibly can. But with that all said, this is the tier list, and much love, and you all take care.